Hi everyone, Holly with Katerie Designs. Today I thought it would be fun to do a hand twisted cross, and this is one that I've already made, and it's on the Katerie Designs page, and it is made with purple Taiwan turquoise. You can see where it says that. It's just upside down. Would help if I had it right side up. Actually, it would help if I had it right side up. Sorry. Anyways, so this is the one I've already made first, and it's done with silver ParaWire with an 18 gauge and a 24 gauge that I use to wrap around, and then I've got some filigree and some boho beads. These are Jessie Jane beads. They're just different types of rhinestone studded, and this is like a little I guess I don't know what it is, but it's a really pretty bead. This one's the rhinestone studded, so I have those on this one. And the filigree in the back is actually how, when you take a tack nail and you mount it on the tack nail, and it'll hold on there, and that's how that one does that one. And I'm trying a new way of filming because I cannot, the camera is too close to the pad, and I tried it on a higher mounted stand, but then you couldn't see it and it was too far off, and I just can't seem to get this right. Eventually I will. I can eventually get my kids to actually help me figure this out, and then I won't have to worry about it. I did the bead thing, not the camera thing. Alright, so I have some more of these as I said, the Taiwan turquoise, and it's a purple color, and so I have 4 of them, and I have some more of those beads that are Jessie James beads. If I can get this in here, hang on, if I can get it to focus here. Come on, had this problem yesterday. Come on, there, well, I'm too close, there we go. I think it's because it's too sparkly. It's just too bright. Anyways, those are like little tiny seed beads, is what they are, or little pieces of crystal, not sure. My eyes are not the best in the world, so. But those are the Jessie Jane beads, and her beads are really amazing. And then these are more the same thing. These are wood shellacked with rhinestone, and they're also Jessie Jane beads. It came off Jessie Jane bead strand. And I also put I'll be putting a bunch of those for sale on the Keller Beads page that you can use for Christmas or whatever. But they're crystals, not this type. All right, and then I just have some accent beads. And so I'm using, instead of the silver, because I did that last time and I don't like repeating the same thing, so I'm using some brass. This is 16 gauge wire. This is, I don't know how old, but you can tell by the tag, that tag is old. This came in with all the other wire I got, and I got that 5 years ago, so I have no idea if you can get real brass wire anymore or not, but I mean, for that cheap. And then I have some gold ParaWire. You can see how I got it. And this is 26 gauge, and this is for wrapping. It helps solidify the cross, because the wire itself, the 18 gauge, is not quite heavy enough, but I can't use a heavier gauge because it won't go through the holes. So this is how I do it. Unless I could actually use a heavier gauge and then wire wrap my beads to the K skeleton of the cross. And I will do a video on that one time on how to wire wrap a rough cross and use it. I actually have some, you can see it on the Katerie Designs page. I actually have some that are like that are just rough and can be used as a quote-unquote skeleton, where you can sew beads onto them, or you can just use it rough. I used to make them out of baling wire back when my hands were stronger. Okay, so now I've cut myself a I'd say 15-inch piece of my wire, and so I'm going to measure. You can see it's this other one. I'm going to measure out about how long I'm going to need, and I'm going to give myself some room to wrap these loops. Now, because I've gotten older and I'm not as strong as I used to be, and the memory wire clippers here, which I probably shouldn't be using on that, but oh well. They work good and I don't have to worry about burrs. I use these the Bead Smith, or you can use Wobblers, whatever brand you like. This is really good for wrapping loops, but there's also another way to do it that I found, and let me see if I can find it. There we go. And this is awesome. Oh my gosh, I found these, and this is so awesome. And and I'll show you right now. You just put this through the hole, and there's a hole right here. And I'm gonna make my first loop, so that I'm gonna show you how you do it, because I need to do it. So because I don't like wasting wire, you can stick it all the way through and do whatever you want to and cut off as much as you want to, but I don't like wasting wire, so I put it just to where it's in there so it doesn't slip. And then you can watch as it cuts through here, and you have a perfect loop. And if you want to have a little bit of that shepherd's hook, you just kind of bend it back just a little bit, and it has that perfect loop. See? And if this would just, there we go. Isn't that amazing? And if you have to, let me see. You take your flat tip pliers, which you're going to need those too. I'm sorry, I should have done supplies better than I did this time. I'm a little distracted. And take that, and then see, I'm coming out of zoom. I just can't get this camera thing right. So eventually I will. So all right, so this is my one, and I'm not gonna do one exactly like this as far as the same colors, but it's gonna pretty much mirror this in design, but not in color. So it'll be different. So the first thing I want to do is I need 4 beads, and you need to use metal. You can't use plastic with metal and stone. You can, but it needs to be a heavy duty. It needs to be a really good acrylic. But I suggest that for these end pieces here, to buffer up these to keep you from going into the stone and having this grind on it, you use a nice either a really good acrylic that has metal coating on it, or a metal bead. And those actually over there were a really thin aluminum, but they're strong. I don't know how to explain that, but they're a strong aluminum. And see this little piece right here. Now this doesn't cut a flush loop. This has a little bit of a burr on it, and I can feel it. So I need to make sure that this is down in there really good so it doesn't cut anybody. And I will fix it once we get to wrap with the thinner wire. But just, I don't want to cut myself when we start. So, all right. Now I got my first bead on here, and you're going to want to pre-plan. And you can take scrap wire or whatever, or even fishing line or whatever you want to do to try to do a mock-up of what you want to do and how you want it to look before you put it on there. The biggest thing you're going to have to fight when it comes to putting beads on the actual wire, ParaWire, is you're going to have to make sure that it fits through the hole, that the bead is, and I'm actually not sure this is going to fit through the hole. And now I was just thinking about that. I was saying that, and it doesn't. This is why I had to use a thinner wire. This won't fit through. This is too big. So I'm going to put this on pause a minute, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to have to get a silver or a smaller gold color. Now this is 16 gauge. I'm going to need about an 18 gauge to get through these holes. I'll be right back. Okay, so I came back and I had to get the no tarnish silver ParaWire that I have. And this, like I said, came, all these ParaWire, all the wire I have came from an estate sale a long time ago. So you're talking 5 years ago. So that price that lady had on there, that's definitely not what it costs now. But anyways, so I got the silver, and 18 gauge will work. And I don't know what diameter hole these are, because they don't tell you that when they tell you the bead size. They don't tell you the hole diameter. But anyway, so this is why pre-planning is very good, and I should have done that before I started this video, but I didn't. So, but that's okay. This is going to have even more contrast because I've got the gold and silver and the gold and silver, so I don't have both. So you have to decide how you want your beads to look. Okay, I have beads that are different colors. If you can see them here, this one's darker, so I think I'm going to want this one at the top. These are more pink. I want these on the side, and this one's down here. I want this one at the bottom. Okay, you could turn them out, you could turn them in, however you want, whatever, it's your world and your design. So just choose what you want, and then you just slide it through, and it's in there pretty good. So let's see. All right, now next I'm going to take, let's see, how do I want to do this? I want to take the boho beads. Now because it's a cross, it's going to have a heavier bottom than it does a top. So I'm going to have, or more on the bottom. So I'm going to have 3 beads on the bottom. Now, this is the easy part for the filigree, because this is we're going through this section. The hard part gets to be in when we have to go this way. So here we have with this one. All right, now then I need another bead to fill in. Oh, wrong. So it's good to make mistakes, because then people can see, look, this is what it takes to make something. It takes trial and error. I don't see something, oh, that looks good, and put it together and it's perfect the first time. Sometimes I have to take something down several times and cut it apart and start all over again. So just keep trying. Don't let it discourage you. It's, nobody is perfect, and it takes a while to learn. And even when you do know how to do it, you still have trial and error. Like I just did. I messed up. I totally got the wrong sized, I can't even say the word, wire. So, and I didn't pre-think about that. So that happens. All right. So now, because with the cross, and this is a wrapped cross. I will call it a wrapped cross because it's just, you're putting the beads on it and then wrapping it up. Okay. So I've got this part. Now I'm going to kind of go through and mirror this part to this part up here, but I'm not going to have as many beads. I'm going to have one less bead. And that's because when you look at a cross, it's bottom heavy. Let's see. So we need to mirror it. So this is, we're both on this side. And then, let's see, mirror it here. And I just realized on my other cross, I actually made a mistake on the other one. I'm looking at it. I made a huge boo-boo. But you know what? It's kind of like the Persian rugs. There's always a flaw in them on purpose because nobody's perfect. So I'm going to go with that. I'm going to stick with that one. All right, so now I have this right here. And then I have my bead here. Okay. All right, and I just one more bead. This bead that's going to go up against this loop. Now this is the first part of my cross. And so, yes, this is a lot of excess. I usually don't, but I actually turn these because these are 18 gauge. I actually can turn what my leftover piece, I can actually turn that into an earring loop, or an earring, like the base piece, I can turn it into a paddle or whatever. So, and I'll show you how to do that in another video. So anyways, I'm going to take this, I'm going to pull it all the way up to this thing, and that's why I love these. This has been for me because my hands have gotten to a point where I can't really work with heavy wire anymore. I can't really work with things like this. This has enabled me to continue doing that. And I know it's stupid, but I was so cheap. I would not buy tools like this in the beginning. I'm like, no, I mean, that's just too expensive. And then I learned that Michael's and other places have half off or 40% off. And so I would just go buy them as I could. And so anyway, utilize what you have to utilize. It's like, for me, this is like having to use, you know, I'm gonna have to start using a cane. I don't want to use the cane, but I don't get a choice. So it's just something like that. I just have to utilize my tools. So now I have this pulled in here. I'm going to pull on it, and I'm going to close it off at the same time, and knock a few of the beads off my bat while I'm at it. But hey, you know, it's got to be entertaining, right? Now I'm going to pull this back right here and then lift it out. And I'm going to make sure that this is flat and flush, because I don't want anybody to get their fingers cut, and I don't want to get my fingers cut on this. Now you see how just floppy this is? That's because it's not done. And this wire is forgiving, so you have to reshape it, especially since I'm going to be tugging and pulling on this. We're going to have to reshape this. So the next wire, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to put a nice loop on it. And this wire is, you can see it's a little bit cockeyed, so don't worry about it though, because it's, like I said, we're going to be messing with it, and it's going to get, you don't want it bent in half, but I wouldn't worry about it being a little bit out of the loop. And let's see, so I'm going to take this back just a little bit. You see the nice loop. Make sure it's nice and flat, because I don't want to cut my fingers. And I suppose if I was going to be a safety nut, I should tell you to wear glasses when you're doing this, and when you're cutting your wire. You're definitely more than welcome to, and probably should, if you're not experienced in doing this. And again, even if you are experienced in doing this, you probably should wear glasses. But I can't see with them, and I can't see without them, so I have to, you know, on and off, on and off. All right, so I'm going to put my beads on first. I can't put it through the loop first, but we're going to put it through this filigree. That's why I chose a filigree for the center. But we're going to put our beads on first. And so the pattern, I have one extra bead, and I'm trying to get it with the ones that look the most. Because this looks a little taller than this one. So these look a little more uniform in size, so that one extra bead I don't need. Okay, so I'm going to start with my end bead here, and then I'm going to put on my this bead here, put it on this way, pull this in, and then I'm going to have one bead here, and then one of my gold beads here. Okay, and now I'm going to go through my filigree. Now, one of these will be the back, and one of these will be the front. It is not really dual-sided. You can see on this one here, this is the front, this is the back, or this is the back and this is the front, however you want to work it. But you know, it doesn't really matter. To me, this is the front because it's sticking out more in the front. Somebody may like the in-depth part of it this way. It's just up to you. but that's the way I do it. I put my wire in where what I consider the back part of the filigree, because there is, on this filigree at least, there's no center, and I'm going through the top part of it to begin with. I'm working from the back part of it so I can see what I'm doing. And this is where that word finagle comes in. You just kind of got to fiddle it in there until you get it in there. And you got to be careful because you'll bend your wire. So you want it to go in and come out relatively in an even manner. And this side isn't wanting to work with me. So let's flip it over and see if I can get this side to work with me. Some of the filigree, the holes are bigger than other. One side's bigger than other, or someone didn't, get it all out. Get all the metal out from in between. Okay. Now I got a little bitty lip here, and I'm gonna have to grab that if I can. And I can't. There we go. This is not easy. It just takes a lot of work and patience, which is why I liked doing it, because I don't have any patience. There we go. Now I can pull it. See? And I'm gonna have to try to stretch this straight because you can't pull that through a straight hole. Okay, so see? And see how hard I had to pull? That's that's why you need the metal beads. Okay, now that's relatively even, going straight across. And see how this is still real floppy? That's what this is for. Okay. Hand stitch crosses, when you use one with a skeleton and you hand stitch each bead into the metal, which I have done. You can see them on the Katerie Design page. I don't have any for sale. They've all been donated or given away as presents or whatever. But those take a long time, and so lacking time to devote to that, and the patience to devote to that, because hand stitching involves, using either fishing line or thin wire like this, and it's very tedious. I just haven't had the patience to do any of those, but they are very pretty. If you like doing that and you have the patience to do that, I would do it. It's really worth it. It come out so pretty. Okay, this one has a little bit of an edge to it. And there goes the cat. I knew it was going to happen sometime tonight. I've been on a roll with the animals going crazy. The other night, that was my baby cat Eden, and she's doing it again. And she's just looking for her brother. She wants to hang out with her brother, and he doesn't want to hang out with her. So, sound familiar? All right, so now I'm done with this, and I just need to close this off. That's so distracting. All right, so I'm going to put this in here, pull it all the way up, and then I'm going to close it off. And then I'm going to save that extra piece. Okay, and I'm going to just move this a little bit. And then we have this. Okay, now we have this. Okay, so that's really pretty, as you can see, and I'm turning this towards you, and this is going to be really pretty. You just kind of have to, again, I hate that word, but finagle it to where you want it. Let me put this stuff out of the way, because I won't need any more cutting tools other than for the other wire. I'm going to put my bead where it won't get in the way. Now, this is this silver or this gold ParaWire, and it's 26 gauge, and it is very, 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 very fragile. As in, it will bend and kink. It will kink really bad. And you really can't get the kinks out. So this one, and I actually have another one too, where someone kept cutting into the wire because they couldn't find the end. So they cut it into like, they just hacked into it. You're just going to kind of run your hands over it, just smooth it out if you want to. And I take, let's see, here's a kink in it right here. And that's not going to be any good anymore. So, what am I, there we are. And take that little piece off. And hold that over here. All right, so now I have a really long piece. I'd say about a good 36 inches maybe. Okay, so I'm going to turn this where I can see it. All right. So I'm going to start, I'm going to put my end, because I don't want the end to come out and I don't want anybody to get trashed by the end. I'm going to just kind of work it in to the bead as much as it will go. Okay, and that's as far as it will go. And then I'm just going to turn it around, and I'm just going to start spinning it around. And I have to pick this up for a minute. And you're just going to spin it around. And I'm letting this end drape down. I would go faster than this, but because I'm trying to keep it in frame, I'm having to show you. I'm making several wraps around this, so it's going to tighten up this space between these two, so it will tighten up these beads and they won't rotate as much. Okay, so I'm just going to do that for a minute. And it's harder to do on camera. There we go. That's a little better. Okay, so now this has gotten really stiff. Now I'm going to take this, I'm going to hold it right here with my finger. I'm going to come down around the bead. And it's just going to make a line. It won't wrap around the bead unless you do some certain maneuvers to keep it where it's wrapped. It's going to have like a light wrap, just kind of like this. You're just going to see like a random little twist around it. And it's decorative. And then I'm going to wrap around a couple times around each bead as I go down. And I'm going to put my finger on it to keep it from slipping. Sorry, I'm out of frame here. Keep my finger on it from slipping as I go down to the next bead. And then I'm going to move my finger down it so it can go down to the next bead. And already, this is already getting tight. Now when I'm done with this, I'm still gonna move this. This is meant to be hung on the wall. Like I said, it will bend if you squish it. It will squish. I mean, this is not a hard wire. I mean, we could do the 16 gauge like I just showed you. The harder wire would not bend as much, but it still, would bend. You do a thicker wire, but you can't do it with these beads. This is why we're doing this. And this is decorative. You could actually put this on wood. Have someone, make a real beautiful piece of wood to go behind this. I'm not a woodworker, so. Anyway, so we're going to go down to the next bead. And just going to keep on going. And I'm just going to go straight with this to around down the straight one, and then I'm going to get another piece of wire and I'm going to go across it. So then you can see the you can see it bending, and so I'm just going to bend it back. And go around this several times, this end one here, and then go back down this, and then hopefully squish this end into the bottom here. Okay, so and this is where my glasses need to come into play because I can't see. All right, so there we go. And as I said, it gets very forgiving. There we go. And I just bend it back wherever it was. So, and yes, I have a little bit more on the end here, and I'm gonna have a little bit more on the ends here than I do at the top. So need another piece, and because like I said, this one was done. Oh, I just saved that kink there. I'm going to use about 24 inches of wire. I'm going to go in just like I did the last one. I'm going to go in through the bead. It's trying to go through the bead, not through the, there we go. It's going through the gold bead, but not the, see, it just bent. I want it to go through the, try the other side. So I want it to go through not just the gold bead, I want it to go through the gold bead and the turquoise. Like I got it just right there. All right, I just have it. All right, now I'm gonna put it around it. Come around here. And kind of bring it around. I normally wouldn't have to do all this. I have this on, hanging over my lap and doing this, but so that y'all can see what I'm doing. If I keep going out of frame. See how this just barely comes across here? And I'll show you the other side once I'm done, how it looks. Okay, so I'm gonna get really good wrap on this. Okay. Yes, I know it's discombobulated right now. It's all over the place, but once I'm done, it won't be. Take my bead. It's a little hard doing this, filming this. Sorry, guys. Okay. Then I'm gonna put it right through here. Grab it right through there. Okay, I'm coming over the top and then back around under the side. And then just kind of do, and then coming up over here, and then over here, and then back around and around. Okay, and I need to tuck this in. I need to put my glasses on so I can see it. It's gotten tinier. All right. Here we go. All right, so now this and I'm showing you this way so that you can see it. This is your completed cross. This is the top side. Okay, this is the bottom. You can actually even if you want to twist these around till they all have this on there, you can. Okay, so this is the top side. and this is the back side. And you just need a pin, what do you call it, a tack pin, and it means it has no head on it. It's just, you know, looks almost just like this, but it's a nail. And you just tack it in the wall, and it will hang on the filigree, and it's very pretty. So I hope you enjoyed making this rustic cross with me, and I look forward to doing some more tutorials with you very soon. Y'all have a blessed day.